Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. We gonna do what they say can't be done. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. And I think I've forgotten the rest of the song.
From the highways of America, here's the podcast where we talk politics, a little entertainment, some culture, and this and that, from the road to your ears. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
And welcome to another episode of Trend Chat. And I know it's been a long time. I know you're probably wondering, wow, it's probably been over a month since the last episode, and that's true, and we're going to get into reasons why, and there's other things that are contributing to that, and like I said, we'll get into that later on. And I bet y'all probably wondering, what in the world, why was he singing at the beginning of the episode? And I guess if you don't know by now, Burt Reynolds passed away last week, and it's funny because, as y'all all know, I'm a truck driver, driving all over the great state of the United States. And, I was just thinking about when I heard about Burt Reynolds passing that, Smokey and the Bandit, and specifically Smokey and the Bandit 2, was one of the influences as far as me even thinking about driving trucks. So one would be Smoking the Bandit 2, because that was more focused on trucks and all that, and I remember watching that as a kid. And also Transformers. I think I've probably mentioned that on here before, but yeah. So I've always just liked trucks, and I know one thing as far as Optimus Prime and Transformers, but also Smoking the Bandit 2 as well. And just hearing about his passing made me think about that movie and that particular song. I think a lot of drivers probably know that song, even if they probably don't know where it came from. But yeah, so I guess I just, sung a little bit to y'all. It wasn't much singing. It was just me trying to just remember the words, which I didn't even remember all that. So, like I said, welcome to Trend Chat. I didn't even do the intro, I'm your host, Brian Bledsoe, and if you want to connect with us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's all the same name, Trend Chat 24/7, as well as Snapchat. It's the same name, Trend Chat 24/7. So, like I said, I know it's been a while, and I guess I might well just get into that first, actually. Right now, we kind of wanted to wait till after Labor Day. I know we did the episode talking about SummerSlam back in like August 17th, or at least that week. And I definitely wanted to do that. But also, since then, I just decided to wait until after Labor Day. And saying that, I hope y'all had a good Labor Day. I know it's been a couple of days since then, but just saying, letting you know, I hope y'all did. And so, as far as when it comes to this show, right now, we have been informed that we have a limited amount of time. I mean, we always knew we had a limited amount of time, but now we have a set time as far as how limited it really is. And at the current, I guess in our current plan and where we're at right now, we have only maybe 40 more episodes left to go before we run out of time on our current plan with Spreaker. And to go further than that would increase our costs a lot more than we are paying right now. And unless something changes in between that, I don't see us continuing after we reach that point. So But like I said, that's a long time from now, really. I mean, 40 episodes, given the fact that we're coming on if we could start every week now, we're probably looking into sometime late, well, not late, but early next year, probably, or maybe mid next year. Just depends on how many times we come on. But you know, I am determined to get to 150 at the very least. If we go past that, if something happens in between here and and then that where we can continue on past that, great. But right now we are determined to get to 150, at least 150. Like I said in the beginning, we can go to 1,000 if we, if we can, but that's what we're looking at right now. So I guess I want to get that little news out. So, cause that's down the road, but that's the reason why we haven't come on in the past couple of weeks, because we're, after being informed about that, had to really think about coming on and really not just coming on just for the sake of coming on the podcast, because we got to really use our time wisely. So we really want to just, I guess, kind of reevaluate how we're going to do this from for the next. This is episode 109, so for the next 40 episodes. So anyway, kind of what we're going to be doing, just in case we do get to 150 and stop there. I definitely want to make sure for me that I'll be able to get out pretty much everything as much as possible about what I think on different things, and to basically get my point of view. And I guess in a way just to get it on record. So you may have more episodes like this where it's just me talking to you. And hey, that's totally fine with me. Like I've always said before, doing the podcast is really not that difficult for me, because I basically do it in the truck anyway. Just nobody hears it. So to actually get behind a microphone and just basically say the same things I normally say in my head as I'm listening to whether it's talk radio or just the news or whatever, or other podcasts. So now with that, I think like even the last time I remember, because it was a long period between the last episode, and I kind of ran down everything that I kind of kept note of. I did the same thing as well, and I'm kind of going to do that now. I'm going to go with the I guess the oldest story, which I still kind of find funny, but I just want to go with that. And it's not it's not a lot. I just wanted to. It was one story. If y'all don't know, that what's her name, Michelle Wolf, had her Netflix show canceled. So I really thought, I mean, I said that was probably that was the first time she was actually funny, but and I know it's kind of a small thing, but to me it was, I really wanted to just mention that right quick, only because, I mean, I just remember how viciously she went after Sarah Sanders at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and her just despicable display of saluting abortion during her show and all that. And and then to hear Netflix cancel her show, which I didn't shed a tear. Like I said, I thought as I played, I thought it was quite funny. So. And plus, she'll be all right. It's not like she's going to be out of work. There's plenty of liberal places that are going to pick her up. She'll go to some other place, and she'll be fine. She has a slew of places to go to as far as that will love her sick sense of humor. So I know another thing. I don't even know if this really is much news that people really, if it was really put out there. But I did see something about Black Panther being pushed for an Oscar. in the upcoming, these upcoming Oscars in the next couple of months, which, I mean, really? Because don't get me wrong, I saw Black Panther multiple times. I thought it was a good movie, but it's nowhere near an Oscar movie. It's not even the best Marvel movie of this year, let alone just one of the best movies. Because, obviously the best Marvel movie was Avengers Infinity War, which Black Panther was in. So, but I feel like this basically just, even if it's nominated, and if it's nominated and then if it ultimately wins, this is strictly symbolic. This is not about it being one of the best movies, which, that's what the Oscars have been doing all this time anyway with a lot of these movies. They're just looking to make a statement. And whether you're talking about having the first, I guess, superhero movie to be not only nominated but also win, I feel like there have been a lot of superhero movies, if we're just looking at it like that, outside of it also being, one of the, as far as being, a black superhero as well. But I could definitely think about, like The Dark Knight was a better movie, but back then, and it didn't even get nominated, and like Logan. And like I said, Avengers Infinity War was the better Marvel movie. But even Marvel is pushing for Black Panther over Infinity War, which basically kind of just proves the point that they're basically just using it, picking the Black Panther just for symbolism. And like I said, just to I'm basically just using the Oscar to push, I guess, to make a point, not so much in looking at what is the best art in particular. But anyway, there's going to be more to that in the next, probably, early next year especially. It's just something that kind of came across. Now, also, I know right now we had the whole thing with Molly Tibbetts, and then with the illegal immigrant and what happened there. And that's, I know a lot of people were saying, especially a lot of the leftists were trying to make it seem like it wasn't. This is not a legal immigrant issue. It's an issue of toxic masculinity, because he wouldn't, he wouldn't accept no from her, and he did what he did and all that. Why can't it be both? It could be someone that, a guy that didn't take no for an answer, and unfortunately, killed her because he was upset about being rejected. And it also can be about illegal immigration, because if the policies were used effectively, he wouldn't have been here to commit the crime. And that is kind of that's pretty simple way of looking at it. And just because it's simple doesn't make it not true. If the policies were actually enforced, then he wouldn't be here, and that particular crime wouldn't have happened, which is true for all these other crimes that are done by illegal immigrants. If these policies were enforced at the border, then, and not only enforced once, because you had a case here where he was deported multiple times. So not only did it fail once, it failed multiple times to stop him from coming into this country illegally. So it's not like it was just a one-time, slip up. No, it was multiple slip ups, and in the end, it put him in the position to, unfortunately, murder Molly Tibbetts. So, regardless of what anyone, whether her family, and don't want don't want to get involved as far as looking at it from the illegal aliens aspect. If they don't want to, that's besides the point. It's still true that if he wasn't here, that particular crime wouldn't have happened. Not saying that nothing wouldn't have happened, but he wouldn't have been here. So yeah. And so right now that's going on, as far as, the legal alien, he's in custody, and we'll see what happens from that in the months ahead. So now the name of this episode is called Protests and Boycotts Making Monkeys of Us All. Now there was a reason why I called it that. One, because I thought it was funny, and two, because of a story that is just so absurd. But this is 2018, and this is where we at, and we're just having all sorts of issues as far as making anything into news, especially if it's something that makes a Republican, whether they're conservative or not. It doesn't even matter. Just being a Republican, if you say anything, and this is not nothing new. This has been going on for years, but it's just another example of dealing with a media that is just waiting to just jump on every single word you say. But before we get into that, let's hear a word from my friends from the Founding Project.
Hello, Trend Chat listeners. If you like the Founding Project's Civics Education video series, Civics for All Ages, and our educational meme series, we think you will love our new website. Join us at thefoundingproject.com and be a part of the civics movement. The Founding Project is a 501c3 education nonprofit. Please join us today.
This is Dana Lash, and you're listening to Trend Chat.
So, a couple of weeks ago, we had, primaries in Florida and Arizona and Oklahoma as well. And the big news actually came out of that, outside of the winners and who all won. I know Martha McSally won the primary in Arizona, which, for me personally, I've interviewed Kelly Ward, who was also in the race as well, and that's who I was pulling for. And I actually went out and campaign. I did some block walking. It's not like I did anything more than just kind of block walking, but we've interviewed her here on Trend Chat a number of times, and it was unfortunate that she didn't win. But that being said, that primary has passed, and so we're moving on with Martha McSally, and to go against Kristen Sinema. If I don't know if I said her name right, but that's the race going into the general in November. But also, Ron DeSantis won the primary over, I know one of the others were Adam Putnam, but Ron DeSantis won the primary down in Florida. And also for governor. I just mentioned that. Yeah, for governor. And on the Democrat side, it's a man named Andrew Gillum, who is the mayor of Tallahassee. And so DeSantis mentioned in a interview that I guess wasn't talking about Andrew Gillum, who is basically he's a democratic socialist like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and so he's in that vein of basically want to bring socialism to the state of Florida. And DeSantis was basically saying that, let's not, mucky it up. as far as don't mess this up, Florida, as far as and bringing in a socialist to be the governor of your state. And from saying the word, just saying the word monkey, like he wasn't talking about him, right? He was using a term, which just like how I said, like, you know, there's other words he could have said. He actually could have cursed it. Actually, if he would have just cursed, used the F word, he'd probably been better off. But just by using the term monkeying up, and that just threw the left into a tizzy, and woo, that's what I'm saying. They just grabbed on to that word. Oh, he said the word monkey. That means he's trying to call Gillum a monkey. You know what that means? Because, you know, black folks are monkeys in their eyes, I guess, to the media. I mean, when they hear monkeys, they're like, oh, that reminds us of black people. Like, how racist are y'all? That's what y'all think about. But, just the stupidity that comes from how these leftists in the media and how they're wanting to just basically, it is an uphill battle. And it's like I said, this is nothing new. This has always been there, and it continues to be a problem. And I don't see it changing anytime soon. I mean, people in the media and all the, you know, from the anchors that you see on TV all the way to the editors and the people in the behind the scenes in the offices. I'm pretty sure that's probably just chocked full of, you know, leftists from all different, you know, parts of the country. But yeah, so that was just, I mean, at this point, at the time of talking about this now, it seems like it has died down as far as it hasn't derailed DeSantis' campaign. I'm glad, because I mean, I'm guessing people are having an actual, you know, clear head about what was going on and seeing that how stupid that was to try to make that connection. But you know, we'll see. Hopefully, well, you can't say hopefully nothing else happens, because I'm pretty sure, you know, people in the media are just waiting for anything, for not only from Ron DeSantis but any of these candidates. They're just waiting for any little. I don't even want to call them gaffes, because they're not really gaffes. It's like they're using their words against them in a way they can, even if it's not even, like I say, it's not even something where someone was like, well, I didn't mean to say this, but I said, and I said something else. Like, it's not even a gaffe. Like, I was actually that's what I meant to say, but you're twisting my words to make it seem like something else. And so, you know, just continuing on. But I know not only with, now with that, then we kind of went into a period actually of, you know, very prominent figures in our nation passing away. I know I mentioned about Burt Reynolds from last week, but we also 2 weeks ago we had Aretha Franklin pass, and that's also and Senator John McCain pass. And that was another, well, actually the name of this episode, I think it's not protest, but I think it's funerals and boycotts are making monkeys of us all. And boy, did this whole thing about not only Senator McCain's funeral blew up, also with Aretha Franklin's as well. Now, I didn't post a lot about, you know, Senator McCain's passing. I mean, when the news broke, I, you know, posted about him passing, and I basically kept it at that, because I didn't have a whole lot to really say about Senator McCain. Well, I didn't have a lot of good to say about Senator McCain. Let's put it that way. Other than his service in the military, that is to be commended. Regardless of how you feel about, whether there are stories about what he did while he was in the military, whatever. Like I said, I'm not getting into all that because, it doesn't matter now. But, also, I just didn't really have much respect for him as a politician, especially. But I didn't go on social media to make all those points, especially after he passed. Cause like I said, it does for what? I just, posted that he died, and then that was it. So now the thing about it, even though there was all these calls for not politicizing his funeral, now let's not forget he kind of politicized his own funeral by mentioning a couple months ago he didn't want President Trump at his funeral. Okay, I mean that's something he didn't have to say, but also it's his funeral. So, if that's the case, all right. But like I said, but by making that statement, before he passed, that was in a sense politicizing his own funeral right there. But, okay, fine. I mean, President Trump honored that and he didn't show up. I mean, why would he not honor that? I mean, why would you show up just to even when he said not to? So, but yeah, so he didn't show up, but then you had a number of people who were speaking at his funeral, at Senator McCain's funeral, who decided to make it political in their remarks. And, okay. And not only with Senator McCain's, also Aretha Franklin's too. So, although President Trump was at neither one of these funerals, he definitely was there in the minds of all these speakers. He was on their mind, and they couldn't stop talking about him in a lot of ways. So you had President Obama at Senator McCain's funeral throwing his little jabs, and Meghan McCain threw hers in, and President Bush then, said his little, like I said, he had his little slights to the president as well, all throughout his speech, and then at Aretha Franklin's, you had Michael Eric Dyson basically call him everything except a child of God, I guess is his way of putting it, and he was at that funeral they were all making all sorts of remarks that they could to try to I guess you can't say as far as to get under his skin or whatever, but they just basically making their usual complaints and just screeds at the president because in their mind he's racist or whatever. So, but also at Aretha Franklin's funeral, then you had former President Bill Clinton basically looking at Ariana Grande getting all happy, which was that it was funny, but it was creepy. It was just creepy just to see that old man's. I mean, he acted like he was so happy, and that was a creepy look. It really was. And then you had the pastor up there, basically groping her on the pulpit. I mean, that was a weird funeral, and yeah, and it's funny. I know a lot of people are seeing, Bill Clinton, right? But also, there was other people looking as well. If you saw like the whole video when Ariana Grande was up on stage, I guess. But yeah, that was that was something else, and also long. Let's not forget that was a very long funeral. That funeral went on for 8-9 hours. Wow, that's yeah, that's a long time. I mean, also Senator McCain's he had like multiple funerals, one in Arizona, one in, I mean, it was, yeah. The whole week was just full of like, was about 2 people. And, just, yeah, it was a long celebration of life, put it that way. So, and it's funny because at Aretha Franklin's funeral, apparently one of the pastors, one of the people who spoke at her funeral got all those woke folks upset, basically because, you know, he was not, well, I would say it like this. Basically, he was telling black people that maybe, you have something to do with what's going on in your community. Maybe you could help out as far as, instead of always blaming, you know, someone else, blaming the man, blaming the system, blaming whatever you can blame on except yourself. And because he had that sort of message, basically where he was not, you know, kissing black folks' butt, basically, you know, basically just saying it's not your fault. It's not your fault, and because of, because, you know, crime is happening, or because whatever ills the black communities would say they have today. And like, none of your fault. You didn't have nothing to do with it. It's all because of racism, or it's just systematic racism, and on and on. And he didn't make that message. And because he didn't say anything like that, he was basically saying we need, like, one of the lines in saying that, you know, black lives won't matter unless we see, I forgot what it was because I had it down at first, but yeah, he had a message that basically was trying to tell black people to look at ourselves as far as what we're doing, and to straighten up as far as, you know, in a number of issues. And no, they didn't like that. They was like, oh, get this, you know, so-and-so off the stage. They would call them all, you know, the regular, the words they would probably use for me and all that. And then any other, like, if, you know, any black conservative. And I don't think this pastor is a conservative of any sort. And, but they was giving him the same treatment, right? But, oh well. So, and that's just something that seems like it will never change. Not well. I mean, it could change, but it's going to be very difficult. But now I guess another thing that's kind of made us kind of lose our mind is what has happened with Nike and Colin Kaepernick, and, you know, the ad that's been out, and that has, in my mind, I think they made us crazy in a way. But we'll get to that. Let's hear from Politichicks about the brand new book. Hello, this is Brian Bledsoe, host of Trend Chat, also contributor at Politichicks.com. Here to tell you about the new book called Politichicks, A Clarion Call to Political Activism, with over 300 pages from contributors like myself, talking about topics such as education, social issues, healthcare, the Second Amendment, and of course, activism. I encourage you all to check it out at Politichicks.com, and is also available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Politics and other stuff, maybe. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
So, we have had, I think, well, it's been a couple of days now, and we had an ad that showed up with Colin Kaepernick's face, black and white, saying, believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. First off, I don't care too much about this ad. I would just say Colin hadn't really sacrificed anything. He had a job. He chose to kneel and do whatever, and now he's suffering the consequences of it. So whatever. I mean, and that's not really suffering in the sense of, cause, oh yeah, you was getting paid millions of dollars. Yeah. You're not on the street right now, and you didn't sacrifice nothing, especially in comparison to the people you're being compared to. Like, so, you know, like I said, the whole point of protesting, if that's what you want to do, whatever. I don't agree with at all with what he's protesting about. And not only I don't agree with what he's protesting, but also at the time that he wants to protest. Now, if that's what he want to do, I mean, like I said, it's a free country, fine. But I don't understand the whole why you have to do it during the national anthem. And the thing to me is that every time you bring this up, someone that is supportive of Kaepernick always want to say, well, it's not about the anthem. Well, my response to that is, why? Okay, if it's not about the anthem, why are you always doing it at the anthem? There are, 23 hours and 55 minutes in a day. And you choose to 2-3 minutes during this national anthem to make your protest. If it's not about that, then do it any other time. If that's the case, if it's not about that, then why are you doing it right at that particular time? It seems like that's what it is about. Or that's the time. I mean, or you're just saying like, oh, well, that's the time that we can get the attention, the most attention is at that time. Really, that's not the case either. You get a lot more attention when you're doing anything else on the field. You could do it. Yeah, you could do it after the game. I mean, these people putting mics in your faces, in the faces of these athletes all the time. And they have plenty of time to make all the gripes they want to make about whatever perceived, whatever perceived inequalities that they want to talk about. And so to say that it's not about that, then I feel like that is very dishonest to say, because you feel compelled to do it at that particular time, and then turn right around and say, well, it's not about doing it right then. It is about the anthem then. So, but anyway, like I said, from that ad, then this is where I feel like a lot of people kind of lost their mind. Then people start posting videos of burning Nikes, and like they was burning their sneakers, and in protest of Nike. What? Okay, fine. I mean, if that's what you want to do with them, that's fine. I mean, do whatever you want. I'm pretty sure Nike doesn't care about that particular type of protest, because you already paid for them. But I know, like, for me, I mean, I have a pair of Nikes, but I mean, I'm not finna burn them. I'm also not about to go around walking around in them either. I mean, I don't wear them that much anyway. The only time I wear them when I play basketball, because they just basketball shoes. Now, here's the thing. I don't agree with what Nike, I guess doing their woke, their woke campaign with, Colin Kaepernick. I mean, they also have a TV ad, which is playing during the NFL games, with Colin Kaepernick, whatever. And I know one thing for me, seeing this sort of support for Kaepernick makes me not want to buy any more Nikes. And I mean, that will definitely be, I'm pretty sure that'll be something in the back of my mind next time I buy some shoes. And so I'm pretty sure I won't be buying anymore because of that. And I've done that with a number of other companies that do something like this, or something that I don't agree with. But like I said, I've mentioned before that I'm not into like boycotts in general, mainly because it never ends. It will never end. All these companies are always doing something. So whether it's Nike, then I go to another company, I'm pretty sure that company is going to do something I don't agree with. And then another company I go to, and so they're all doing something. You got to kind of discern what is the most egregious of all of them, because they're all going to do something you're not going to agree with. And so right now, I wouldn't care about buying any Nikes. So, I mean, so that's where I will stand with that now. And like I said, not only this, that boycott of Nike is right now, and then also because the NFL season is back in swing again, because because they backed off their national anthem policy. So, people are still upset as far as not wanting to watch the NFL again. Again, myself, I'm not watching only because I just don't care anymore. And it wasn't because of this whole national anthem deal. There was other things that I don't care for about the NFL that I'm just tired. I'm just disinterested in even watching their product anymore. And that goes for a number of other things as far as, whether it's TV shows or whatever. I'm not just begrudgingly not watching, like, because it's something I want to watch, but I don't want to because I'm trying to make a political point. I just don't care anymore. I just lost interest in anything that they even want to do because of how blatantly they want to advocate for certain policies, which I find destructive to this country. And so not only with that boycott, but you also had a week ago where just because In-N-Out Burger decided to donate to the GOP in California, from that, a boycott In-N-Out from liberals rang out that they don't want to support In-N-Out, which I don't know. This one thing maybe people don't realize, but they also In-N-Out Burger, they also donated to the Democrats as well. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think they donated even more to the Democrats. So the fact that the Democrats got mad that they even had the nerve to even donate to the GOP made them mad and wanted to boycott. So that was crazy. And not only, what other boycotts? There was other boycotts that was going on recently. So In-N-Out, then, I'm pretty sure a boycott Levi Strauss, the jeans, Levi's jeans. And so they donate like over $1 million to give to gun control groups now. And so I don't know how big of a boycott for Levi's is going. I mean, I don't have any Levi's, so we have to worry about that. But, with all these boycotts and all these companies are doing stuff that are, doing stuff that are against the things that you believe in, all I will say is that to, one, look into, Second Vote. That is a good resource to use. We talked to someone from Second Vote a couple of months ago. And so if you want to know what these companies are doing, check out Second Vote. It's an app. They have an app. They also have a website. I think it's www.secondvote.com or .org. But it's called Second Vote. Check them out. And if you want to know what these companies are doing and want to make your decision, a more informed decision and what they support, what the company supports and all that, check them out and see what what these companies are, what they're advocating for, where they donate their money, and then make your decision from there. So, that was a lot. I actually didn't get through everything. Actually, I didn't even mention about Brett Kavanaugh's and the crazy hearings that have been going on this past week, and mainly because that's some more stuff that is making monkeys of us all. But I appreciate everyone listening. Appreciate everyone coming in and listening to our couple of minutes here. So I know we are coming up to, it's not, like I said, we got another 40 episodes now. So, but I appreciate everyone listening. We're going to keep on moving on as much as possible. And as I've said before, we're going to do as much as we can until they cut us off, I guess. So until next time, we'll chat with you later.